Hello and welcome to this training video on the Civica Payroll Bureau portal. In this video, we will look at the options available to a system administrator of the portal. To begin, they will log in using a username and a password, click on login, and that will present the user with the dashboard with any particular updates in the center. On the left-hand side, you will see a number of menu options, which we will now cover in this particular video. The Manage Employees section has two options, New Employees or Employee Edits. Sitting alongside this is the standard output options of Generate PDF, Print this screen or Email this screen. Previous new starters will be shown on the screen and you can click on View to expand that information. To add a new employee, click the Add New Employee option. Within the Personal Information screen, you'll see there's an option for a manual payroll number, and that allows users to go in and put their own payroll number in. If not, the system will automatically generate the next sequential payroll number in the list. Users will need to go in and populate each individual section alongside any of the mandatory information that's shown on the screen in bold. Failure to populate the mandatory information will mean that the record will not be saved and users will have to go back and populate that information. At the top of the screen, once again, once the record is saved, users have the option to output the information to PDF, to screen or email. In here, we also have some options around the payslip type and where we're going to be sending that payslip to, whether that be the home email address or work email address. Once that has been set up, users will also populate the bank account details and then move on to the company information and allow users to go in and select their relevant pay group numbers, the company, specific posts, cost centers, locations, if there's a grading structure, and the relevant spinal column point. Are they a teacher and do they have a teacher number? Then we move forward to the employment information, which includes the join date, probationary end date, the basic hours, hourly rate, and also the contract terms. The contract terms is really important because this is the calculator behind the software that allows us to determine how we prorate salaries and holiday entitlement. And the annual salary will be the prorated salary there rather than the full-time salary. So users will need to put that particular value in here. And there's some other options in here in regard to contracts being issued. Then we move on to the pension area. And then finally, the starter checklist and student loan plan types and the circumstances A, B, or C. Finally, we have the opportunity here to attach documents, for example, a driving license or right to work information alongside a document description. And there's also a notes box in here if required. So once that information is populated, we click on Submit Employee. It asks us for an effective date of that employee. Click on Continue, and you can see that that individual has now been added. In the Employee Edits area, we have the option to go to the Browse, search on one of the criteria listed, click on that individual, and then navigate to one of the fields that we previously looked at, and then go and modify that. For example, basic hours in this particular example. Click on Submit Changes. It'll ask us for an effective date of that change. Click on Continue, and that completes that particular process. And I'm able to click on the View options, and it will show us where we've made that change. And as you can see, that's highlighted in red for that particular individual. And we've got the Generate PDF and print that out if we want to. The Enter Leaver option allows the user to process leavers. To do so, navigate to the employee that you wish to make a leaver, click on Add New Leaver, populate the leave date, populate the leave reason, add any relevant notes, and click on Submit Leaver. That will then stamp the database with that change. Add period variations allows users to enter period inputs and deductions. To do so, navigate to the employee using one of the search criterias. Click on Add New Input and populate the following: input code, department, cost center, value, and whether it's a fixed or one-off. Once complete, click on Submit Input, and the system will ask you if you wish to add another input. To add a deduction, click on Deductions, browse to your search, select your employee, click on Add New Deduction, select the deduction code, department, cost center, start and end date alongside the value before completing and clicking Submit Deduction, and then the prompt will come up to ask you if you want to add another one for that employee. If users wish to add countdown deductions, the process is fairly similar. Once again, you'll navigate into the relevant employee, enter the information, add new deduction, select the deduction code, and if that deduction code is linked to a countdown, it will be automatically ticked, and users will be asked to add start and end dates, a balance, the number of periods that that particular payment should be spread across before submitting the deduction, and that will then complete that particular process. To enter sickness, navigate to the required employee, add new sickness, and then populate the date from, the date to, if there was a specific time, the relevant absence type, and then any required notes before clicking on Submit Sickness. To enter maternity details, select the maternity submenu, navigate to the relevant employee, click on Add New Maternity Details, and then populate the following fields: EWC date, MAP B1 scene date, notification details, MPP notified date, and MPP start week. Once complete, users can then submit those details. In a similar way for paternity, navigate to the relevant employee, add new paternity details, determine whether it's birth or adoption, and then populate the EWC date, notification details, SPP start week, and then how many weeks that individual is due to take before submitting the details again. And then finally for adoption, we search for an employee, click on Add New Adoption Details, enter the matched notified date, expected date of placement, certificate with the details, and the APP start date before submitting the details. And that finalizes the process. Payroll details has three options: payslips, P60s, and the pay group report. To view a payslip, navigate to the employee search, select the tax year or period, and then that will generate on screen and allow users to print the payslip out either to PDF in this particular example, or alternatively to printer. In this example, we're just saving this to a network share. The P60s is a similar kind of situation. Navigate to your employee, and then that will automatically show the P60s for that current tax year. And finally, the pay group report will provide a report available to users to view and drill down on with gross to date, net pay, split by department, and you're able to generate that to PDF or print it to screen depending on your requirement. The audit trail allows users to drill down on changes that have been made in the software to employee records. It will illustrate the user that made the change against the relevant employee, what field has been updated, whether it's been inserted, edited, or deleted. We have a print option again. We have a date range, but we can also search against a specific employee. And in this example, this will just return the results for personnel number 340. The authorization menu presents users with a dashboard of items to authorize. These items are hyperlinked, so when users click on those items, it will jump to those particular screens, but will also show you all of the areas for the user to consider. Users are able to drill down on the information entered by clicking on View. They can also generate PDFs or print this pop-up. Once they've reviewed it, they have two options, the tick to approve and the cross to reject. They click the tick, that will approve that record. If they click the cross, of course, that will reject it. And once again, we've got this generate PDF option that we can click on, and then that shows us a list of new employees to authorize. And then we can start to move from left to right and approve the items where necessary and appropriate. If we go to inputs, we're able to see that information. We might want to reject a particular input or deduction. So it is as simple as reviewing the information and then clicking on approve or reject and processing those within the period. The other area that you've got is the administration of password resets. If someone within your organization has asked for it to be reset. And then finally, there's an add documents area where we're able to go to the employee browse, select the individual, click on add document, click on choose file, navigate to a particular document, add a document description, and then click on add document, and then that will save that record to the system ready for approval. And then finally clicking on log out will exit us out of the system.